Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively on Sunday the 16th of November 2025 with FLOSSTUBE number 292. Welcome back to my weekly YouTube channel about cross stitch. And just a quick note, I've surpassed my 6 years on YouTube. My Google Studio, Google kindly said congratulations on 6 years. So I went and had a look, and my first FLOSSTUBE was the 10th of November 2019, and I just never forget. I always know it's November, but I always forget what date it was. Apparently it was the 10th. So yeah, congratulations to me. This is actually the second time I've recorded this. I was staring at my phone, chatting away, and then my phone went dark, and I'm like, why did my phone go dark? Because it went into standby and I hadn't pushed the red button. So if I'm a bit brief and curt, I'm a bit brief on my intro. A, you'll probably be pleased, and B, it's because I've already said all this stuff. So yeah, thanks for the love last week, all the lovely hellos and thank yous and comments to my sister, sharing her stitching. She doesn't love being on video, but she warmed up when she talked about the dog, right? And also yes to the canine nephew Marley. What is he? He's a cavoodle, I think. They were supposed to get a toy poodle, but he's already at, what is he, 12, 6, whatever, how many weeks he is. Let's say 13 or 16, how many weeks he is. He's already double the weight of what a toy poodle is supposed to be at adulthood. The vet thinks that he's a cavoodle. Did I say all that last week? I don't know. So yeah, thanks for all the love and support for her. And yeah, back with a regular program. I didn't get a lot of stitching done this week because I was knackered. I, on Sunday, got my sister wrote, basically, I needed to do a couple of hours work on Sunday. And I had to drop my bag drop opened at 3:30 p.m. But I said to my sis, to Megs, like, either I go into the bedroom and I work for a couple of hours and then you take me to the airport, which is going to be a bit blare, or let's go out for brunch. I'll take you guys out for brunch, say thanks for having me, then drop me at the airport a little bit early, and then I'll just do the work from the airport. Then I'm already there whenever they're ready for me. I'm ready, kind of thing. So we did that. So we found a little cafe in Sandgate on the way to the airport. They dropped me off, I think about 2:30. So it was about an hour before bag drop. So there's a little, right by the Air New Zealand bag drop area, there was just like a little kiosk, selling overpriced everything. So I just grabbed like a bottle of Coke Zero or what have you, and just sat there at the table, one of the tables, and just worked on it for an hour and got document A edited and ready to share, yay. And then dropped my bag and then went through security with the idea that I'd work, I had another hour or so to work. Bumped into one of the little cafes in the main departure area, gate, I think it's gate 80, 81 are the two main gates in Brisbane International, and then you go this way for the 70s and this way for the 80 pluses. But there's all these, like, you've gone through duty free, and there's all the like little Australia shops with the macadamia nuts, and a few eateries and bars and stuff. So it's quite a nice social area. But I bumped into my ex-brother-in-law, so my sister's ex. His flight back to Auckland was a half an hour after me. So we sat down, had a coffee together, and then I worked for a little bit while we chatted, and he watched a YouTube video when I was working, and yeah, caught up with him, which was quite nice. Haven't seen him for a couple of years. Kind of looking after Dad. I used to catch up with him quite a bit when I went up. Usually every time I went up to Whakatane, I would, catch up with him every second time maybe, but with Dad being sick the last few years, I hadn't, but it was nice to catch up with him. I don't think I've really seen him since Bree's 21st. And then after that, I said I'm going off to hunt for macadamia nuts because I wanted to bring some home. And then I just headed to my gate. But then I think my flight, and then I heard his flight, we were both delayed. But we were delayed about 45 minutes. And then, but due to tailwind, we still got to land only 5 minutes late. So by By the time I landed, got through security, blah, 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 got to my car, got home about 1:30 Monday morning. Managed to get through a day of work, but I was pretty knackered, so really early to bed, like 7:30 on Monday night. Slept for like 12 hours. Tuesday night, had a late night out because I went into Wellington after work to go to Bill Bailey vaudevillian show. And so then Lauren dropped me home on her way home. So I got home about 11:30 p.m. So another early night was needed on Wednesday night. Thursday I went into Wellington, worked from the office there, and then just worked a little bit late, and Lauren again gave me a ride home. So by the time I got home it was like 7:30, and I grabbed like hot dog and chips for dinner, and then again went to bed pretty early. Friday I didn't feel like stitching, so I didn't actually pick up a needle until Saturday. So I don't have a lot to show you. I got a little bit. Just was a week. I just needed to recover. I don't have any social plans this week, which will be great. So I should have, as long as I'm not knackered, needing extra sleep, I should be able to get my usual evening stitching in. I don't think I'm going to go into Wellington this week at all, other than I've got a hair appointment, a beauty appointment. No social things this week, so I should be able to do my normal amount of stitching. And I'll be very happy with that. So I think that's it for the life stuff. I do have a tiny bit of haul. I'll tip it out. So where's the card? Okay. A little while ago I purchased this chart, you may remember, Dewberry Meadow by Rosewood Manor. And I had talked about maybe kitting it up with sort of 3 different shades of black, and doing it as a black sampler November stitching for next year. However, I did mention that the threads that it calls for are House of Embroidery, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And the lovely Catherine at Country Stitch messaged me to say, look at this, copyright 3024, Karen Kluber's in the future. Obviously a typo. It calls for House of Embroidery threads, and it was number 92 herbs, A 3 skeins, B 2 skeins, and C 2 skeins. Now, Catherine pointed out, let me know, there were a couple of places in New Zealand that stock House of Embroidery. It's a South African brand. And maybe a local person to contact was SoziaEarl, and she is House of Embroidery representative here in New Zealand, in Masterton. House of Embroidery. So I don't even know, does it say she's got a website? I don't know. We can email her. She is SoziaEarl@gmail.com. That's ZOSIAEARL@gmail.com. Reach out if you want the contact details, and I can message you privately or what have you. So, or I'll put details in the doobly-doo if I remember. So I messaged her to say, well, let me, so according to her, there is no 92 herbs B, not available, whether it's been discontinued since or what have you, but she suggested an alternative. So I'm not sure about the alternative. I might just find something in my stash to go in between, but I needed 3 skeins of the A. So they come in They come in little cards with 2 skeins. And you can see this is 92 herbs, and they're numbered A and C. So the darkest A, and I need 3 skeins, and the C, I need 2 skeins, and the B, which she said they don't have. Again, maybe it's been discontinued. Presumably goes between these colours. But she said there was a 92B in a pearl. So she showed me that colour, which looked a little bit like this. So not even between, but she had this colour here, which is cypress. So I said, well, send me a card of cypress. only got one card. Potentially I need 2 skeins, but I'll just make it work, you know what I mean? Or I'll find something from my stash. So I did get 3 cards of A and C. So I've got 3 of them. And maybe I'll just use more of the C. I don't even know. I'll make it work anyway. So they are 2x5 meter skeins, 100% cotton, hand-dyed in South Africa. Apparently by purchasing you support like a small industry over there. They're really pretty. So the C in particular has a lovely variegation of sort of these lovely muted colours. The darker ones, not so much variegation. We shall see. I will make it work. So I'll either make these 2 work somehow, or I'll pick something else. But you know, it looks black. It looks black, and it's actually charted in green. So we shall see. So that was my wee tiny haul. So she knew I was going to be away, and she was away as well. So she got them in the mail to be on like Monday or Tuesday, and they arrived Thursday. I think I got them on Thursday. So that was great. So just a wee little haul. By the way, the skeins, these cost $6 New Zealand for the 2, so basically 2 5-meter skeins. Each card is $6 New Zealand, so not too bad for a over-dyed thread. So I been doing a little bit of a tidy up, the ongoing craft room declutter, tidy up, sort out my life, move my desks around, drama in my craft room office. This was sitting on the floor, kindly put away. I cut out a sneeze then. Got a sneeze on a floss tube. So Spring House by Hello by Liz Mathews. I had a false start on this back in February when I decided that the blue fabric I'd pulled was too light because the ecru wasn't showing up. I got another piece of fabric from Country Stitch. So this was sitting on the floor. I kept stepping on the fabric. It had fallen off of a pile. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start that damn thing. It's been sitting there for ages. So I did a restart on it yesterday afternoon. So Spring House, Hello by Liz Mathews. So I'm using Country Stitch fabric. So got the wrong glasses on again. 35 count Coastal Ice is the top colour by Country Stitch linen. And 35 count linen, I can't read what that says. Ocean Blue is the new colour that I've got for the bottom portion. And I'm using the call for DMC, and I got it started on the 15th of November, a restart, and I've got most of the bottom bit done. So the fence definitely shows up quite a bit better on this fabric. It's still a little bit, I did almost change it to a white, but I'm like, no, I'm just going to stitch it with the ecru. In person, you can see it quite well. I think it's a little bit blurry on screen. But I got all of the 2 greens in down the bottom section. And there are 3 kind of peachy colours that are in. I've got about 3 colours still to go, and I've got to put the bunny in. That little gap down the middle-ish bottom, there's a little rabbit goes there. And a colour I haven't pulled. So there's about 4 colours still to go in. So, but I've just been colour completing, and that's that bottom section. It's only going to need another hour or so, and it will get the bottom section done. So that is quite fun. So just to show you, my colours are probably a little more warmer, a little bit more fresh than the called for. But yeah, that's that one there. The top colour, which is the, what did I say it was? Coastal Ice, is definitely more teal. It's got a little bit more teal in it. Again, it's slightly warmer, more saturated than this. But I think it's going to look really good once I get that in. It'll be like that. So it's a little bit darker, but it will make those lovely, these are also these yellow and ecru flowery star things. They look really good on that. Very excited to get that finally started. So we love another bloody house, but it's not a huge project, so I'm glad to get that restarted, 9 months later. So that was, I did, yeah, a little bit of stitching yesterday afternoon, evening. And then I got a little bit of it this morning. And then this morning I picked up poor old neglected Louisa. So Louisa Coulimore, who hadn't had any love for over a week. Hands across the sea. I picked her up this morning and I got 3.5 lengths of thread in. She's on 56 Grunard linen from the Wee Linen Company using a Gütermann silk number 46, and she's my 1 thread a day when I stitch on her, or my no threads a day when I ignore her. She's a stitch along with Judith and Narissa from Narissa's Stitching Lifestyle, and I got that next part, 3/4 of that next, well, 2/3 of that next row in. So from H to Z in that alphabet, and very happy with that. So we'll keep chipping away on that this week. Get a little bit caught up because she's been neglected. That's the extent of my stitching. I do have a few past finishes to show you and to give away from that map chart that my sister stitched. Before I do my little giveaway, I will quickly show you some past finishes. I think I've got 5. Don't have details with 2 of them, so one of them old, second one, can't find the card. What's the theme of this? I'm getting down to the dribs and drabs of what's left to show you from my past finishes. So maybe I've got 6 here. I can't count. I've kind of gone with the theme of pretty, pretty delicate. I guess the majority of my stitching isn't pretty, like pastels and, soft, and I don't even know, but they kind of were like random, and I'm like, they're all kind of pretty. So I thought I'd show you, and because they're all pretty, I'm like looking at them going, which ones would I actually frame? It's a really good question. Okay, so no particular order. This one I can't find the card for. I probably could look it up on my spreadsheet or what have you. It was one of the early stitch-alongs, mystery stitch-alongs with the, is it Stitching Book Club? I can't remember now. I think it was called Pride and Prejudice. I know I changed one colour. I think it's on 28 count. I had a scrap of 28 count that I'd picked up either from a freebie table or someone had given me, like it's an over dye, so I can't remember what it is. It's definitely, I think, 28 count. It's quite big. It looks looser than 32. So it's stitched in 2 strands of DMC. I know I changed one of the DMCs. It might have been one of the greens. It was in the 720 range, 730 range. I can't remember. I'm having a brain fart. I think I didn't have one in my stash, or I couldn't find it, so I went the other way. So at least one of the colours is different. And what else did I add? I added my initials and the year I stitched it. So it was 2019. Okay, so here it is. So it was a Pride and Prejudice. I really liked this one. When I did the Sense and Sensibility stitch along, I didn't like that one. I thought it would be similar in style, and I didn't like it. It's a finish somewhere that I need to do something with. I think it's I need to sort this out. I need to add something to it. I need to add a frame. The finish was this weird. Anyway, I didn't love the Sense and Sensibility one. This one I quite liked. So yeah, it's a peachy over-dyed fabric. One of the colours is changed. And down here, so it's got here, Netherfield Park is let at last. All of the initials in these cartouche things are to do with the couples in the book. So you've got Lizzie Bennett. Nope, you've got Lydia Bennett and what's his name, Wickham. I can't remember what was his, George Wickham, Charlotte Lucas, and I can't remember Mr. Collins. I can't remember what his name was. Elizabeth Bennett and Darcy. What was his name? can't remember. I've gone completely blank. I've only read the book like 3 times. I said, he's not Frederick. I can't remember. And then you've got Jane Bennett and Bingley, Charles Bingley. Far out. And then it came with, like, it had, you know, the 1813, which I think is the year Pride and Prejudice was published, and her initials down here, Jane Austen, and then I put my initials down here in the year I stitched it. That was a modification, Pride and Prejudice. So that's that one. See, pretty. Will I ever get it framed? I don't know. It's kind of pretty. If I had another wall, maybe a literary wall, but I do think it's really pretty. If I can make the Sense and Sensibility one kind of be a good complement to it. And then, of course, I've got other, you know, whatever. Okay, this one here, probably a little bit controversial. When I stitched it, I've stitched a few things from Tinsel Cross Stitch. Some of her designs are very derivative, bordering on, they're not the same, but they're heavily inspired by other designers, and I feel a bit conflicted sometimes because they are different, but you know, you kind of go, actually that's really similar to a Margaret Massey. Margaret Massey? Oh my god, my words are, I can't remember anyone's names. Massey design. You know, this one's very similar to, say, Leela's designs. This one's similar to these Quaker. So, but they're different, but they're really similar. So I feel a bit conflicted, but I do, you know, have stitched a few of her designs. So Firebird Sampler, she calls it. When I bought it, I did do an image search. I couldn't find it anywhere, but I have since found out that these are maybe published under other names. They're out of print designs. Whether she purchased the right to them or not, I don't even know. But anyway, purchase with your own. At the time, I love it. And I do have a complimentary one, which is she calls Dolphin Sampler, and that's called something else. But I have the charts, and I will stitch the other one eventually. So this is Firebird Sampler, Tinsel Cross Stitch. It was one of my 50 at 50. I stitched mine on 35 count Toy linen. This is a creamer toy. Sometimes toy can be a bit yellow, but this one's a creamer toy 35 count from Country Stitch, and I used my own silks, largely Silks for You, and I love it. So it's a Phoenix, also known as a Firebird. I did make quite a few changes to the design where I felt there were either charting errors or mock-up errors or whatever, where there were things that weren't symmetrical and stuff, or something was a weird colour. So enough changes that I couldn't tell you what they were, and I love it. So again, it's based on an out of print design, may or may not have been licensed, or may I don't even know. But anyway, I love it, and I just stitched it. And it wasn't like a super cheap chart, like it wasn't like a $2 chart or anything. Again, yeah, I don't know. The Common Thread 2 is also another pretty one. So Jeanette Douglas, this chart was a kind past the stash, I think, a gift from my lovely friend Susie, and I've since passed it on. So this is on 32 count cream linen from Zygarde, and I used my own silk conversion, my own charms. So mine's a little brighter. The called for ended up being a little bit more autumnal, I think, and they had gold charms, and I just had silver charms, because that's what I've got heaps of. And I used similar charms. The fleur-de-lis they didn't have on theirs, I can't remember what that was, another heart, I think. Lots of specialty stitches. I think the only call for thread I used was the silk pearl. I think it was a Verissois Soie Perlée. It's the pearl silk. But largely Silks for You, and a couple of, what do you call that? Water lilies, I think. It's so pretty. So, yeah, just a really pretty design. The white work was challenging, but worth the effort. It was a lot of frogging in the white work. But yeah, thanks again, Susie, for passing me that chart. It was something I never would have probably purchased myself, or had never even seen. And she said, would you like this? And I went, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. thinking I'm going to get to use so many of my silks. You use so little silk in this. You go, oh yeah, I've used one length. But anyway, nice having it and nice being able to kit stuff up. Something else is in that pretty. This is probably bordering on whimsical, but I've got a whole bunch of little whimsicals. I'll share one other time, but they're all little, so they'll end up being like cushions and things. But this one is a bit bigger. So Stitch Goddess by Tiny Modernist. It's probably a little bit whimsical for me, but her orange hair sold it for me. I stitched this as a stitch along with Judy. Her channel back then was an Aussie in a Kiwi world. Can't remember what it is now. She's moved, she and her husband have moved to Australia. But anyway, probably still comes up. So I started it on the 1st of January 23 and finished it on the 2nd of October 23. And I stitched it on 35 count Ocean Blue from Country Stitch. And I used a partial DMC conversion. So the majority of the DMC was called for, but I changed the blues to more aquas, and I changed the pinks to more these maybe mauvey pinks. They were a bit baby pinky. So there she is. Her hair is fantastic. I stitched her hair last because it was amazing. I did also add some gold metallic in for the scissors. You can't tell probably on screen, but these scissors have some bling in them, so I added a little bit of gold in for those. But she's really lovely. I stitched all the frame first, then I did all the contents of her dress, and then I stitched all the white on her dress, and then I did her skin and her flowers in her hair, and then I did her hair last because her hair was the best part. And it's like, you know, you save the best part, you did it all last, don't you? You eat your veggies first. That's how I stitch. This one's an oldie. I don't remember when I stitched it. Did I date it? Probably not. I stitched this. I think I was still living in Whakatane, so I moved here in 1999. So I probably stitched this 97, 98 maybe. And it was a Victoria sampler chart, and it had a little bead kit. I had an embellishment kit that came with some specialty thread, so some silk and what did it have? It had silk, some pearl thread, or I had to buy the pearl. I don't remember about the pearl. Had little beads which included little amethysts. Where are the amethysts? I'm pretty sure it had amethysts. Oh yeah, little amethyst beads, like actual amethyst. Water lilies. I think it was called cat sampler or something like that, because it had cats in it, because I love cats. So it's very pretty. It's not the sort of thing I typically, you know, I think I'm a little bit more earthy than this generally, but it is so pretty. So you're down here, there are little, the beads are actually little pale purple amethysts. It's so pretty. So yeah, that was the stitch from back in the 90s, and it would have been on, just looks like, I'm trying to think, is it 28? I think it's 28 count cream linen. Definitely not 32. I think it's 20. I'm looking at something here which is 32. And this X's are bigger, so I'm pretty sure it's 28 count. Or it's 32. I think it's 28 count. And the last pretty one, this is a spot sampler, and somebody shared this on their FLOSSTUBE and went, oh, you know, there's this freebie from Redley or whatever, and I was like, oh, I really like that. I was going through a peacock phase. It's very bright. I don't know what the hell I would do with it. And it's from Cross Stitcher magazine, July 2020. You can get on Redley. I've got mine on Redley. And it's, yeah, I stitched mine on 32 count Belfast linen. Is it an overdye or is it just cream? I can't even bloody tell. It's an overdye, but I don't know what it is. I didn't write it down. It just might have been a scrap or who knows. And I started it in October 21 and finished it in December 21. And I wrote down, yeah, just 32 Belfast, DMC, but some changes from the called for. Usually I remember what the changes were, but I can't remember what they are now. Probably I changed the pinks, because I tend to do that. I don't remember, maybe the yellow got changed. I don't really remember. I don't remember what I changed, but it's, yeah, spot sampler, which just means lots of random crap shoved in a page. Love the peacock. I definitely made some changes to some of the motifs where they didn't line up or they weren't symmetrical. Like for instance, I could have changed that one. That one probably got changed. There might have been something not symmetrical, so I just changed it. So there's definitely lots of little changes, just because I noticed that it's not something that in my eyes should be symmetrical. Love the peacock. The owl, just those eyes, the owl's eyes just really pop with they're really cute. And I love that butterfly. The strawberries are cute. Some of the colors are weird. It's very bright. It's not really my cup of tea, but it fell in that. I enjoyed doing it. What am I going to do with it now? Who the heck knows? But that's it. So those are the pretty samplers, I guess, or the pretty projects that didn't really fit into other category, or I could have fit into another category, but they didn't. So yay me. I don't know where the card for Pride and Prejudice is. It'll be somewhere, but it's not in my to be looked through pile. Last but not least, I've got a name written down here, is last week when I was with my sister, she showed off one of her finishes, which was this New Zealand map. What's it called? Yeah, cross-stitch map of New Zealand by Lynn Manning. So this chart was, Karen kindly gave this to my sister when we were visiting Art and Frame in March, when I was dropping off a shit ton of framing and picking up a whole bunch of stuff I'd purchased. Karen was very kind to give this to my sister, but I'm going to pass it on. So if you'd like to, people who were interested in this had to use the word map. I did a random comment thingy, put the picture in here, and congratulations, Kristen NZ. Yay. So I'll message you, I'll comment on your comment. Your name's here. Thank you very much for putting your name down for that one. I will, if you could let me know your mailing address, please. So leibling1919@gmail.com, the actual address down in the doobly-doo. So let me know and I'll get this in the post to you. I still haven't posted the last two giveaways. I took them with me into town on Thursday and I just didn't have a chance to get to the post shop. So they came back with me, and then I went on Friday, I popped down to Camp Street in Trentham to grab something for lunch, which is right next to a post shop, but I didn't take them with me. So basically, I need to have me and the parcels and a post shop in the very close vicinity. So I'll do my best to get them out this week. Hopefully, Kristen, you can get back to me, then I can kill all three birds with one stone and get them in the post. But yay for that. I'm really pleased to pass that on. I'm going to wrap this up, and I just want to say thank you for coming along. Thanks for being with me, some of you, for almost the entire 6-year journey of being on YouTube. It's amazing. So there are some of you out there that have watched every single episode. There's a lot. That's, I'm on episode 292, but I've actually done over 300 videos because there have been some other, extra ones, counting my annual finish parade, whip parade, plus a very small handful of bonus videos. It's just crazy. So 6 years. Yay. I'm going to keep going for a little while longer. Not today, but with the videos. And I look forward to bringing you a few extra bonuses over the silly season with having a little bit of time off work over the stat holidays. I don't actually know how long I'm having off yet. I've just said to my bosses, just let me know when you want me to come back to, let me know when, I'm finishing on Christmas Eve. I'm not going to be there. I'm taking those 3 days off between the stats, but just let me know when you want me to come back, given I don't really have any leave. Just tell me when you want me back at work, and I'll be back at work. So, in the meantime, I'll have at least 10 days off, which is going to be amazing. So I'll be able to get a few extra videos done. I'm not going anywhere. Not traveling. It's going to be amazing. Just being home and quiet and pottering around, and I'm thrilled about it. So, until next time, don't forget, in the description box, the doobly-doo below, there's always my contact details, my Buy Me a Coffee link, the information about my current whips and finishes, and any other information. I'll try and put contact details for House of Embroidery stuff in New Zealand if you're interested in that. And I think that's it. Yeah, take care. Find joy in your stitching. I hope that the silly season that's upon us isn't too silly for you. And yeah, as always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.